It's my privilege to introduce our today's speaker, Dr. Surendra Singh Rathod, sir, a distinguished academician and visionary leader in technical education. Dr. Surendra Singh Rathod is the director of Walchand College of Engineering, Sangli. Before this role, he served as a principal of Father Conceição Rodriguez College of Engineering, Bandra, Mumbai for 3 years. He also dedicated 24 years to Sardar Patel Institute of Technology, Mumbai, where he worked as a professor, head of the Electronics Engineering Department, and Dean Academics. With over 2 decades of experience in teaching, research, and academic leadership, Dr. Rathod is a respected academician and visionary in technical education. He has made significant contribution to improving engineering education and strengthening institutional growth. Dr. Rathod holds a PhD in engineering from IIT Roorkee and has an outstanding academic record. His research interests includes VLSI design, ASIC verification, artificial intelligence, and engineering education. He has published 110 plus research articles in reputed international journals with 851 citations. He has successfully guided 7 PhD scholars and has published extensively in reputed national and international journals. He is also actively involved with professional bodies, academic councils, boards of studies, and governing councils. A strong advocate of student-centered learning, Dr. Rathod is committed to nurturing engineers who are not only technically skilled but also socially responsible. He emphasizes innovation, industry-academia collaboration, and the integration of Indian knowledge systems in education. Guided by values of excellence, ethics, and national building, Dr. Rathod continues to inspire students and faculty and play a key role in advancing advanced engineering education. Dr. Rathod has received significant awards such as recognition as IUCEE Faculty Fellow for the year 2016. He was awarded as a distinguished professor by Computer Society of India for successfully demonstrating innovative and outstanding teaching methodology organized by IITB in 2017. He was also awarded as a distinguished HOD by Computer Society of India for successfully demonstrating innovative and outstanding teaching methodology organized by IITB. He has received IST Best Engineering College Teacher Award for Maharashtra State in year 2012, received Shiksha Ratan Award and Certificate of Excellence in year 2012 by International India Friendship Society, New Delhi, received Outstanding Achievement Award for year 2007 by Energy Society of India and College of Engineering Pondicherry by His Excellency, Government of Pondicherry. We welcome you, sir, for this session, and I request you to please take over the session.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much for nice introduction. I'm just sharing my screen.
Yes, sir. We'll stop sharing. You can share your screen, sir. Yeah.
Down. Madam, is my screen visible and am I audible to you? Just confirmation.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. So good afternoon, everyone, and thank you very much for inviting me for this session. And thanks for this nice introduction, madam. And I'm really happy to be part of this session. And the topic that I'm going to discuss is about the faculty role and transformation in NEP 2020. And we all are faculty members, so we can understand that what are our challenges in our day-to-day life. And in general, you know what is your role, but what NEP expects from the faculty, and also the changing times, there's a generation gap and a lot of new things we are supposed to do. So let us first try to understand the scenario in our country in general, and then I will move onward for explaining where are the challenges exactly existing and try to explain few of the solutions as well. You can post your comments into the chat box if you require any answers for any questions. But what I will do is I will take all those comments at the end of the session, not in between, because there are a lot of things that needs to be discussed when we talk about faculty. We all know that faculty member is a pillar of an education institution. It doesn't matter how air conditioner your rooms are, how fancy your rooms are, but having one good faculty member changes the career of a student. And this picture tells you the role of a faculty. Left-hand side picture very clearly tells that there is a guru and there are shishyas, and everyone was in an open kind of a theater kind of a situation, and everything was interdisciplinary knowledge that was being imparted in our country for centuries and centuries. If you go back and study, we had produced so many gurus. Nowadays we call them as maybe scientists. They might have not got awards like Nobel Prize, etc., in the modern terminologies, but still we remember their names. May it be Acharya Chanakya, Acharya Sushruta, maybe Aryabhatta, and there are so many n number of gurus. They have given us a lot of wealth of information. While going through the centuries, now we have arrived today to this kind of a setup, which is visible towards right hand side, where is guru is also sitting on a laptop or a digital device and taking help of a lot of tool sets, computerized tool sets, and it's a closed loop environment. So we can have a discussion at the probably when this FDP ends, you can among yourself carry out a discussion on what are the striking differences that you can observe between these two setups, and you'll be surprised to know that there are many differences. Few have become negative and few are positive in the current setup. So we won't discuss that, but still few things I would like to discuss. That was that system which we all know, which was present in our country for so many years, in which transmission of knowledge was done orally. There was no written record, there were no books and pens available, there was no laptop, there was no any digital device, but still knowledge was transmitted. And if you go back and see the archaeological survey of India's records at the start of 18th century, you'll be surprised to know that there was a literacy rate among all the provinces which were governed by the Britishers, may it be Madras Presidency, Bombay Presidency, or Central Provinces, or Calcutta Presidency. You'll be surprised to know that literacy rate was very high. That is more than 98%. Then suddenly what happened that our literacy rate has come down so low. Even though it was oral tradition, but still the literacy rate was high because the education means the if whatever skill sets are being imparted by the guru, whatever guru tells, are those shishyas following those principles in their day-to-day life. So yes, if somebody has been skilled to do a particular job, are they doing their job successfully? If the answer is yes, education has been imparted in a correct manner. So our education system was very strong, very strong, and guru has got, or in today's definition, teacher has got a lot of knowledge. Now, this knowledge, when it was transmitted orally, was it only related to the religion? So no, it was not only related to the religion, it was related to the all aspects of our day-to-day life. May it be mathematics, may it be some scientific principles, or psychological principles, or management principles, obviously including religious principles as well. For example, just to give an example to set a tone, I have mentioned here two lines. One is, I'll read for your information, Chaturadhikam Shatamashta Gunam. Chaturadhikam Shatam, that means 104. Shatamashta Gunam, that means multiply by 8, so it becomes 832. Dwasashti, that means 62,000 Sahasranam, so 62,832. That's the meaning of the first line. Ayutadvaya Vishwamba Sasanno Vrutta Parinaha. Ayutadvaya, that means 20,000, and you divide this number 62,832 by 20,000. That's the meaning of these two lines. So number comes out to be 3.14, which we all know what it is. In modern terminologies, in Greek letters, we call it as a pi. But this pi was given by centuries and centuries to us, and all the shishyas who were following the gurus, they were knowing the meaning of these two lines and where they were using. They were using in your day-to-day life this 3.14. So there was a knowledge. It was available in very compact form, like the two lines are being mentioned over here. It was a complete knowledge, not only separated for a one domain, and it was interconnected. So religious idea was connected to your psychological idea, management principle. All of them were integrated together. Then what happened suddenly? So one fine day, Lord Macaulay comes to India, studies India, and then goes back. And then in a British Parliament, he gives an address and he says that I have traveled across length and breadth of India, and I have not seen one person who is a beggar, who is a thief. Such a wealth I have seen in this country, such high moral values, people of such caliber that I do not think we would ever conquer this country unless we break the very backbone of this nation, which is our spiritual and cultural heritage. And therefore, I propose that we replace our old and ancient education system, her culture. For if the Indians think that all that is foreign and English is good and greater than their own, this is important line. That means if the Indians think that all that is foreign and English is good and greater than their own, they will lose their self-esteem, their native culture, and they will become what we want them, a truly dominated nation. And this is what is the starting of the Education Act and our ancient system, which was very good, where Guru has been rejected by all the Shishyas. Now we have become the teacher in today's terminology, and our native languages are gone, and the education and the foreign language, that is English, has been introduced into the system. And now also I am giving this session or this lecture in an English. So Lord Macaulay was greatly successful at that point of time, and this has changed our entire scenario of an education system. Why this brief? I'm giving this because what I personally feel is that joy of learning in education system is very important, whether it's a technical education or any education. Somehow, I personally feel that joy of learning is completely gone, and it is an overdue. Bloom has been overdue. So we need to reimagine the technical education for a brighter future. And who is going to reimagine this technical education? Teachers like us. So therefore, now I'll talk about the few slides where this joy of learning has gone. What has happened? Why teachers are not enjoying and students are also not enjoying. Teachers are not enjoying teaching and students are not enjoying learning. Every day there are several complaints that we get. The students are not attentive, their patience has gone down, and so on, and so many things. So let us have some brainstorming onto this aspect, that what has happened, where we have gone wrong. Okay, Macaulay has introduced English and so on and so forth, and our entire education system has changed. But still, what has gone wrong? So let us first try to understand the scenario in our country, education scenario. If you see the number of institutions that have been approved, every year they are going on increasing. Approved institutions. And here, if you see the right-hand side topmost graph, still the AICT approved institutions, which were, let us say, around 6,000 in 2021. So it has little come down to 5,875 in 25-26. It is because AICTE has become a little stringent in allowing the approvals, but still the number is quite high. If you see the Maharashtra situation, if we talk about our state, the new institutions every year has been added, and AICTE has also added few more institutions, around 700 and more than 700 institutions, AICTE approved institutions are existing as of now. What happens in these institutions? Approved intake again day by day is increasing. Enrollment is still less. So for example, if you see the year 2024-2025, so around, if you can see, 14 lakh students of seats were available and only 12 lakhs were enrolled. That means we are still not able to fill the number of seats. Approved intake in Maharashtra also if you see, not the different situation, country situation and Maharashtra situation is same as far as approved intake and the enrollment is concerned. Now let us go into more details. What happens to these students? And you will get again a surprising data. This data is again from an AICT. So if you see here, the placement record, number of students passed, enrollment, which is shown in green color, and the intake. Intake is very high. Enrollment is less than that year by year, if you see. And the number of students who are passed is again further less. And number of students who are placed is too less. So it is not so encouraging situation for us. Intake is very high, students are enrolling, but then still they are not getting the jobs. That means we are doing something wrong in our entire education system, and we need to understand what are the things that we are doing wrong. So our current engineering education system, I personally think that it is broken. It should be joy-based, J-O-Y. However, this Y is completely replaced by B, and it has become fully job-based. No doubt, job is very important, but joy is equally important. We should not forget that if there is no joy of learning, then there won't be any joy of living, and there won't be a job available. Why this has happened? There are multiple reasons, which we'll see into the coming slides as well. So the disciplinary fragmentation that matches with the dangerous fragmentation of the human being, the body becomes separated from the emotions, separated from the intellect, which is separated from the spiritual mind. That means if I want to study my body, and if I study only heart and no other part is related to that, what is going to happen, you can think. If I study only maybe brain or any part of the body, so you cannot separate parts of a human body. However, in engineering, that disciplinary fragmentation is very dangerous, and it has been introduced for whatever reason many, many decades back. So the most obvious consequence of this fragmentation or creation of silos in engineering is the loss of joy of learning, and therefore the joy of living. There's a complete loss of joy of learning. One student who enrolls in, let us assume, electronics engineering branch, then he only goes into deeper and deeper and deeper into that branch and gets lost out somewhere. And therefore, no, there is no joy of learning. There are n number of reasons, and there are a lot of research articles are also available onto this. Like one of the topic, let us assume that dropout. Students drop out from the colleges. I presume it is joy of learning. They are not enjoying, therefore they are dropping out. But still, what are the minute reasons if you find out? And there is a literature available. It talks that uh, there are students who start working because they cannot afford the fees and so on and so forth, or they need to take care of their relatives. The degree is too difficult. It is not what I expected. I came to a branch, let us say, called as artificial intelligence and machine learning, and I am not at all learning artificial intelligence and machine learning, particularly in first year or sometimes in second year also. So that means my more than 30-40% of engineering goes without understanding what is artificial intelligence. So my expectations are not met. It is not what I have expected, but I am going to force to study the courses which are not at all relevant to me. I do not like what I have to study. This is another reason what students are quoting. Bad integration in the college environment means I am not suited for this environment. That's the meaning. There might be personal reason, there might be health reason, there might be tuition fee related reasons, so on and so forth. A number of reasons may be there, but you can find out some common factors. And common factors may be classified for dropout like these: demographies, financial situations, academic performance, motivation, which is a major factor, then institutional factors also play important role, and social integration. So just read this paragraph, last paragraph. It is from an IEEE paper, IEEE Access paper. What it says that difficulty followed by the bad academic performance and negative relationships with the professors are the main reason for dropping out given by the students. Surprising. You may be surprised to see this result, but yes, it is mentioning that negative relationships with the professors are the main reasons for dropping out given by the students. Lack of vocation and distance to their home address were the less frequent reasons. That means we may comment that, oh, college is far away, so traveling becomes difficult. But these are the less frequent reasons given by the students. There are other things which we need to understand. Let us see what an author like a Singer, who is a renowned author on the education, what he says. At the entry level, it is important for students to understand the role of an engineer or the scope of the field. So when after 12th examination, when the child is enrolled into the engineering courses, first thing is we need to tell the role of an engineer, and we as a teacher forget to tell the role of an engineer. What is the scope of the field? We directly go to the class and start maybe teaching physics, mathematics, chemistry, or whatever course has been given in the first year. So first thing is to tell the students what is the role of an engineer, and we fail miserably to communicate this to the students. Next is our curriculum misses fulfillment of the dreams. Just talk to the child after 12th examination and who wants to enroll into an engineering in a particular branch, and you will be surprised to know they have a lot of dreams. They have dreams about maybe robotics branch, computer engineering, artificial intelligence, or sometimes you will find out about electronics, mechanical, whatever. But they have some dreams, and our curriculum misses the fulfillment of those dreams. Then abandoning the field because they do not see the value in the present curricula. When they abandon, most of the time it is in the first year or the second year. Most of the dropouts or the abandoning happens in the first year itself. They change their track at the end of the first year or sometimes in the second year. Why? Because they don't see the value in the syllabus that we are offering to them. One more thing, students are less engaged in their communities during the first year of engineering as compared to during their high school. In high school, there are a lot of courses or a lot of activities which students do wherein they engage with the communities. But as soon as they come to first year engineering, see your syllabus, in the entire year, there is hardly any connection that happens to the communities. While engineering is a real life problem solving domain, and we do not connect them to the communities, that means we do not actually make them aware of the real life problems. That means missing the connection to the outside world and how it influences their life and the future that we need to study. Next important thing is connectivity between the courses. As a teacher, we must explain the students how one course is connected to the another course. If I'm teaching, let us say, electronic devices course, how this course is going to help them in studying the future courses. Most of the time, teachers forget to mention the connectivity between the courses. And understanding of this connectivity is very, very important. When you explain the connectivity, you also should connect them to the learning goals, completion time, etc. Engineers, we all know they are problem solvers in both technical as well as behavioral fields. So they must apply a systematic approach. We cannot say that this is a technical course, this is not technical course, this is a behavioral field, so problems are different. No, problems are problems. So whether it's a technical or non-technical. So engineers should apply a systematic approach to solve the problem. And that is most of the time we also fail to communicate to the students. Faculty must help students to see engineering as a socio-technical discipline and not a technical, techno-rational one. I believe this is very important. Most of the time when design the curricula or when we teach, most of the time our teachers say this is a core syllabus, this is a core course, ये core course है, आपको पढ़ना ही है, core. We bombard students with the technical terms and the core knowledge. We completely forget that this core has no meaning if there is no social aspect to that. So engineering is not a technical rational domain. It cannot be a one technical domain. It has to be a socio-technical discipline. And that is very important as a faculty to understand first and then to communicate to the students. So a systems approach is required for a faculty when we talk about the domains. We should be able to integrate multiple domains when we teach and not as a fragmented viewpoint of a teacher or a learner. Fragmented viewpoint will never give a joy of learning. Hence, if you want to teach into an integrated multiple domain, empathy regarding human needs is very important. When we talk about transdisciplinary knowledge, first of all, you have to empathize with the another domain. I am an electronics engineer, and if I talk only about electronics and I do not talk good things, maybe about mechanical engineering, computer engineering, or other engineering domains, and might be sometimes other humanity related domains, then that's not good. So, empathy towards other domains or human needs is very important. Then, transdisciplinary collaboration, when we are doing it, is also important to develop a reflective thinking among the students, and we forget most of the time to do that. So besides appropriate decisions related to the teaching methods and practices, teachers in engineering education should pay attention to fostering the relationships based on the warmth, trust, and admiration in the classroom, so that positive energy is being created into the students. Then there's a experiential learning theory by the Kolb. What it says that learning is a cycle. What it includes? It includes active experimentation, abstract conception, reflective observation, and concrete experiences. That means if we are a teacher, we are imparting a knowledge, we must ensure that there is an active experimentation happening along with other things that are mentioned, like, for example, reflective observation. So after the theory, after any lecture, we must ask our students what they have understood. What is their reflection? If there's an article reading, what is their reflection onto that article? That is very important. Then constructivism. That means, again, here we cannot have experiences in the silos. You need to construct entire understanding from knowledge to the practical experiences. Last but not the least here, that mental health. Nowadays, mental health has become very, very important, and it is everybody's business, every teacher's business. So we need to think about the students' situations, how students are behaving. We need to pay more attention. We need to have the strategies to handle them. So there are many strategies which are reported into the literature. For example, change the situation. This is most of the time teachers do follow or students themselves do follow. If they are not understanding the concepts, if they are not understanding anything, change the situation. That's the best way. And there are other methods also mentioned in the literature. So the engineering education field has concentrated more on the rationality and the knowledge than on the emotions. I hope you will also believe in me. We, in the classrooms also, we most of the time talk about the rational or only about the knowledge, but we hardly pay attention to the emotions. And therefore, it creates a negative relationship sometimes between the professors and the teacher, professors and the students, even though the latter are important in students' learning processes and the engineering profession. That means emotions are more important than the knowledge. So if you have a positive emotions, if you create in the classrooms, then there will be joy of learning and automatically there will be a knowledge transmission. So the results show that students' emotions are influenced by their perceptions of what? Of number one, a teacher created atmosphere such as teacher's interest, enthusiasm, emotions, and an encouragement. So as a teacher, what kind of atmosphere you create in a class? Is it like a terror like an atmosphere, or you create an interest in the classroom? You create an enthusiasm. You create a positive energy into the classroom. You encourage the students. Even if there's a failure, you encourage them rather than giving some. That is very important. And second point is obviously your teaching procedures. Are you still using outdated methods for teaching learning? How are you engaging the students? How are you arranging your course? How are you arranging your lectures? How are you arranging your public performances or the active learning methodologies? Both. So teaching learning methodologies as well as the atmosphere in the classroom that you are creating actually affects the student emotions. So as a teacher, you must pay attention to that. Now, very interesting thing is that there is a methodology called as Freire's methodology. What this methodology tells is it talks about the pedagogy of oppressed, and this is very critical of a teachers. That means this methodology is very critical about teaching learning methods, and it talks about the banking method. In bank, what we do? We deposit an information. We deposit a money in the bank. We go, we probably pay the, we fill the slip and we deposit. Nowadays, you can say online mechanism, UPI. What do? You deposit the money into the bank. That's it. So what teachers do? They think that depositing an information into the brain of a child is their job. by whatever means, by hook or crook, they should mug up the concept that have been told. So teachers have historically been the main source of information that we know. When we were the students few years back, probably only books, written books were the source of information. We have to go to library, find out a book, and then come back and study, and then teacher will explain. But nowadays that is not sufficient. Now it has become ineffective, insufficient method. If we are still following the method, then we need to rethink. So one of the limitations concerns the significant variation in teachers' work experiences spanning from 1 to 30 years. Today's departments, if you see my departments over here, I have got a teacher who is having 59 years of an experience, 58 years of an experience, 54 years of an experience, 45 years experience, and I also have a teacher who is having 24 or 25 years of an not an experience, age, 57 years of an age, 56 years of an age, 45 years of an age. And similarly, I have a teacher who is having 24 years of an age and maybe 25 years of an age. So there's a variation in the age. This brings different perception when these kind of varied teachers go into the classroom and they have a different methodologies of teaching learning. We will see that one of the slide that how does it affect. But this is a concern, isn't it? Because teachers vary into their teaching learning methodologies. So banking method is no more applicable. That is depositing an information into the brain of a child by whatever means, hook or crook, is no more relevant into today's day, and therefore there is a joy of missing is completely being gone. That's the meaning. Now, if you let us talk about the generational differences. Very important concept. I think this is very important to understand for the teachers. If you think that we are doing good, everything is good, and we are teaching so many things, we are hardworking teachers, but still what is happening, we don't know. Then we really need to understand this particular slide. I believe this is one of the important slide in my presentation. Why we need to think about generational differences? You might have heard Gen Z or boomers or millenniums, like that. So classification is done by generation to generation. I don't know who has done this, what is the methodology, but people have done this. People who have been born between 1928 to 1946, they are called as traditionalist. Then people who are born between 1946 to 1964, they are called as boomers. So as of now, if you see, their age will be around 56 to 75 years. That means they are already retired or nearing a retirement. And 15% of the workforce is like this. If you see Gen X, then they are born between 1965 to 1980. So most of us, you can say, their age is between 40 to 56. 33% of the workforce today is Gen X. That means we are teaching. Boomers are teaching. Gen X are teaching. Then Gen Y, millennials. These are the kids who are born between 1981 to 1994. So their age is between 27 to 40 years as of now. So they are also mostly into the workforce. 40% of the workforce is between this age. That means Generation Y. Now Gen Z, when we say, this generation has born between 1995 to 2009. So their age is 14 to 26 years. So this is hardly means those who are 25 years, 26 years of age, they may be in the teaching field or any workforce. So around 10% of the workforce they comprise. But mostly our students are Gen Z students as of now. And then Gen Alpha is also coming. The kids who are born between 2010 to 2024. So their age is 0 to 14. That means who is sitting in a classroom? Gen Z is sitting in a classroom. And who is teaching to them? Mostly Gen X or Gen Y, sometimes boomers also. Those who are having age 56, 57, 58. So they are boomers. But primarily who are teachers? Teachers are from Generation X or Generation Y, and teaching to whom? Teaching to Generation Z. Let us leave this age one side when you think about any disagreements that you might have experienced when there are discussions going on or you have witnessed them at your workplaces or in the classroom, it is likely that it comes down to the ethics, work ethics. You will say that, oh, these students are not ethical, like that. People will say. So work ethics comes important. Then नेक्स्ट कम्स अबाउट द कम्युनिकेशन स्टाइल, द वे वी यूज टू कम्युनिकेट. ओ हमारे टाइम तो हम लोग टीचर के जाके पैर पड़ते थे, टीचर आया तो हम लोग नीचे देख के चले जाते थे. बट नाउ व्हाट? सो कम्युनिकेशन स्टाइल, द स्टूडेंट्स कम्युनिकेट, दे कैरी देमसेल्फ, और a clash of day-to-day life, day-to-day values. Managing and understanding this kind of differences is very, very important. By better understanding how generational differences can impact our day-to-day life or our teaching learning processes, then probably we will be able to handle this new generation. 89% of talent professionals believe that this multi-generational workforce is actually good. Innovation and problem solving is increased if you have multi-generation, because generation X and Y carries the experience and generation Z carries the energy, enthusiasm. So having a mixture of ages is good. The thing about generational tag is that most of the time people are stereotyped. They simply classify that, okay, you are Gen X, Gen Y, or Gen Z, but it is not accurate. If one particular person may be different, so don't simply tag based on the ages. But this is a trend. Most of the time, it has been found that this is a trend which comes out to be true. Most of the studies tell that this trend is true. So boomers, if you see these boomers, who are these boomers? These are the senior teachers, or they may be senior administrators who are available today. How they communicate? They communicate in a very structured manner, in a written documents. What kind of technology they have experienced? Probably email. Most of the time when they were child or they were learning, it probably got television, got introduced that point of time, isn't it? So even making a PowerPoint presentation is a challenging for them. Use of LMS is challenging for them. Probably they must be using emails very well. And how they used to teach? Teacher-led discussions. That means teacher is the center of their discussion. Sometimes lectures and debates also they do conduct. This is how the boomers do. What about generation X kind of teachers when they teach? How was their life? Their life has gone into a core teaching learning processes, core learning. So when they were child, they learned core technologies. How is the communication method? Direct communication, sometimes informal communication. What they have seen, 1965s to 80s, we are talking about, again, television. Color television has come into their life, but no smartphones, nothing. However, they are comfortable in using online tools, some kind of blended learning, isn't it? So here, what they have introduced, to some extent, flipped classroom kind of concepts they were able to introduce. Then comes your Gen Y, millennials, 40% of the workforce, the age between 27 to 40 years. What these people have seen, these people have actually seen different kind of communication technologies beyond the television sets they have seen in their life. So they do believe into collaborative tools. Videos have come into their life. Group projects, group discussions have come into their life. But now let us come down to Gen Z. Who are these Gen Z? This is a Gen Z who have mostly seen the visual aspects into their life. They have they've forgotten that there were used to be postcards. Now they only know the email communication. Gen Z is a generation which is born up to 2009. That means they have seen the phones when they are kids. They have seen the smartphones. They have seen the apps. So visual interaction, they like visual interaction. They like videos, quizzes, gamification. And the next generation coming, that is Gen Alpha, which will be very, very advanced. They will like only play-based learning methodologies. They will like only collaborations. They will like gamification and all that. So if you see the communication technologies which we have learned when we are in a different generations is different. The way we used to teach is different. So Gen X, Gen Y teacher is going to a class and there is a mismatch with the Gen Z and Gen Alpha, particularly now Gen Z, Gen Z's expectations. Then it is a serious problem. That means there will not be a joy of learning. That's the thing. So we need to understand these generational differences very well. So this today's generation knows what they want and they won't stop until you give it to them. This is an amazing generation, but we need to match, as a teacher, we need to match their expectations. If we don't match their expectations, then there will not be a joy of learning. So there's a mismatch. I hope you're understanding. The crux of the slide is that teachers are Gen X and Gen Y teaching to Gen Z. And there is a generation gap. That is important. So teachers, what they have studied, like me, we have studied monodisciplinary specialization. We have studied one aspect of curriculum. If I have studied electronics engineering, means more than 80%, 90% electronics engineering only. We don't know about the philosophy and other concepts. So we as a teacher are primarily monodisciplinary, which is not today's demand. Teachers always compare and give references of courses being taught in a monodisciplinary program, while the goal is to synthesize new courses spanning a variety of knowledge elements and skills. This is found to be detrimental and counterproductive. So joy of learning demands multi-institutional collaborations, multidisciplinary knowledge, and that is completely missing in today's world. Why I'm talking about multidisciplinary knowledge? Because fundamentally, what is engineering? Engineering is the main task. Engineers' main task is to find and deliver optimal solutions to real life problems. So how can you come to know about real life problems without engaging the community or other domains? We give the material only based on our technical aspects, but that's not enough. So when we want to solve the real life problems, our materials should be technological, should have the technological, economical, social, and environmental constraints, because engineer is supposed to apply these constraints. So we need to tell our students that engineering is a socio-technical domain. And as a teacher, we need to adopt that now. Okay. So let me go ahead. So really joy is important. People may say that, sir, there are other aspects also then, trust, courage, openness, connectedness, and so many things. I believe joy is the most important part. Why? That I'll tell you. What we did up till now, rote memorization, rigid assessments, we have created a race for the grades rather than pursuit of understanding. Learning became a checklist. Do you know this? Do you know this? Do you know this? Like that. It is not a journey. We prepare students for the exams. We rarely prepare students for the life. And innovations, we have never nurtured into the classroom so much. While creativity requires a joy of learning. So are we creating the pressures into the classroom? We need to ask ourselves, or we are nurturing the potential. Are we evaluating with only marks, or it has got some meaning also? Are we giving room to explore, or just asking them to comply, that do this, do that, and giving them A plus grades, and then congratulations, isn't it? So our education system, you know the meaning of these photographs. I need not explain you that you cannot do an assessment, apply same assessment methods for everybody. If I ask to a teacher, then teacher will say, sir, मैं तो सब बच्चों को एक जैसा ट्रीट करता हूं. For me, every student is same. Is it a right statement? Think about it. Because every student is unique. Every student is different. If equality is important, then equity is also equally important. You cannot treat every student same and do the assessment based on the same methodologies. You need to have diversified assessment methods as a teacher. Then only you are going to create a motivation. So there's a radical shift required. So teachers' role is now inspiring. Syllabus coverage, if you talk about the learning discovery rather than the coverage of syllabus, and rather than evaluating only the performances, we must nurture the potentials into the classrooms. Simple concepts explaining. We need to understand from our ancient knowledge. Go back and study the ancient knowledge, and you will find out so many good references for the teachers. Like, for example, this is a zero. I believe that we even don't explain zero properly to our students. That what is zero? है ना? शून्य शून्य का मतलब क्या? Nothing. That nothing. What is meaning of nothing? To explain that is also difficult for us. Zero, it is a place value system. If you place 0 near the 1, it becomes 10. If you place 2 zeros, it becomes 100. If you place 3 zeros, it becomes 1000, so on and so forth. So in our ancient knowledge, if you go back and see, very interesting example was given in the literature to explain the concept of zero and its place value system. So I'm putting here even example how you can create an interesting examples in a classroom. So here, this few lines tells you Yada Ekopi Sanadeva Datta. That means once upon a time there was a person named Devadatta. लोके स्वरूपा संबंधी रूपच्च अपेक्षा. दैट मीन्स उसका स्वरूप जो है वो सबको अलग अलग दिखता था, है ना. एवरीबडी यूज टू सी दिस देवदत्ता इन ए डिफरेंट मैनर. अनेक शब्द प्रत्यय भागवती. दैट मीन्स people used to refer him by different names. So that Devadatta is for somebody he is simply a human being. For somebody Devadatta is a child. For somebody Devadatta is a youth. You can call him a youth. For someone is a son-in-law, someone is a brother, someone is a grandson, someone is a son, someone is father, and someone may say, "Oh, Devadatta is a Vedic scholar." So that means Devadatta's position is different. Devadatta may be seen in a different manner. Similarly, you can view zero in a different manner. That is the concept of zero. It's very important, isn't it? So such kind of simple examples we need to explain in our classroom if we want to motivate and create a joy of learning. So I can definitely ask, but because of time, we will not ask and discuss about it. You can understand very easily which will be good, teacher-centric or learner-centric environment in the classroom. Obviously, people may say, sir, teacher-centric is not good because it's an authority-based. I am the authority. That's the meaning like that, isn't it? Then learner-centric, it focuses obviously on the felicitation and personalized assessments for a learner. Most of the time we talk about student-centric and learner-centric, but I believe we should go one more step beyond that. We should talk about now learner-driven. This, when we are going from Gen Z to Gen Alpha slowly, we must move from student-centric to learner-driven. Let the learner take the responsibility of learning. Learning is the learner's responsibility. As a teacher, we need to provide a good material, good mentorship, and good engagement, positive environment, and help in the problem solving. But the responsibility should lie with the learner. So this is very important. Again, rather than teacher-centric is no more required. It is an outdated model. Learner center is what most of the time we are talking about, but now there's a need to go for learner-driven model. So self-directed learning. Encourage the students to become independent self-learners. As a teacher, this is also important. This is called as, in literature, it is called as voice and choice model. Voice and choice model is an instructional approach that boosts the engagement by giving students agency over their learning. That means it allows students to make the decisions about what they want, how they want, where they want, and when they want, about their studies, about the learning aspect. About learning aspect, it allows students to create their own voice and create their own choice about what, how, where, and when. That means it transforms the learning from passive to active, fostering the ownership among the students, ownership about the topics they choose, ownership about the projects they choose, ownership about the collaborations they choose. So students' voice and choice is about basically creating and managing a more student-driven classroom, allowing students to have choices in how they work can encourage the students' ownership in their learning. It results obviously more engagements into the classroom, more discussions, more activities, while allowing students choices, multiple choices may not work in every subject, every topic, but still, as a teacher, we should try to give the choices to the students among a particular course as well. Intentionally, we need to identify the opportunities in every course for a teacher, for a student to go choice-based material reading, choice-based process of reading, choice-based assessments method, so on and so forth. So this is going to obviously improve the joy of learning. However, we must understand that there are key important components of this choice, voice and choice model. One is encouraging students. Another is giving them proper options. And third is while implementing, what kind of implementation strategies you are following. Lot of benefits, as I said, increase motivation, better engagement, better critical thinking, self-confidence, all those things will increase. As a teacher, you need to ask this question to yourself. Am I implementing voice and choice model in my classroom? Am I allowing voice of a student to come forward? And am I giving them the sufficient number of choices? Or my syllabus is very rigid? Think about it. NEP talks about it, by the way, choice-based model. So does the joy matters? Obviously, yes. You ask to any philosophers, any good scholars, you will find out that joy is very, very important pillar of our life. If there are many obstacles in our life, maybe fear, anxiety, stress, frustration, sadness, despair, loneliness, suffering, anger, illness, so on and so forth. So joy of learning is very, very essential. Create a joy of learning. So I have just on the slide shown you a snapshot of the book. I would in fact recommend that if you want, you should learn such kind of books if you want to understand what is joy of learning. Why joy of learning? Because it is a fuel of innovation. Nowadays, we are talking about incubation, startup, and so much of culture that we want our students to be job creators rather than asking for the job. So in this case, curiosity is the engine of creativity and joy is the fuel of experimentation. So if we don't apply this fuel, if we don't give this fuel of joy, then probably we are not encouraging creativity. Curiosity will be lost. We then we are in fearful atmosphere. So joy encourages the fearless atmosphere. It promotes the real world connections. It transforms the students into problem solvers and not just the problem syllabus followers. Learn for understanding and not just for the grades. This is what is been created by joy of learning. So the joy is a fuel for innovation, and that's why it matters, because innovation is the core for any engineering education, isn't it? We should also tell our students that they should not compromise on the joy. So this is called as a lemon and banana metaphor. That means we want a juice. We want a lemon juice. So that's what is a happiness. If we get a lemon juice, we are very, very happy. But what our students or we do, we settle for not original lemon juice, but some other artificial kind of a juice which tastes like a lemon. So we have settled our happiness. Sometimes maybe rather than a lemon juice, we settle at a banana, which is only a mashy and it doesn't have a juice. So we should tell our students that they should not settle for the happiness. Happiness is important over here. So a path to an enlightenment is a gateway to the joy. From employment to an enlightenment, we should go, isn't it? So if we see our students are enjoying, you can see from their faces that whether students are enjoying or not. So when they see their code is working, when they see their project is working, that is a joy of learning. That is a moment education truly begins to bloom. That means in our classrooms, we need to create, as a teacher, we need to create such kind of activities so that joy of learning finally comes into the classrooms. Let me go to something important rather than this. Okay, 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 okay. Okay. Uh, Teaching and learning styles. We all know that students learn in many ways. They learn sometimes, they learn by seeing in a better manner. Sometimes they learn by hearing in a better manner, by reflecting and acting, reasoning logically and intuitively. And there are few students who are good in memorizing, and there are students who are good in visualizing. If this is true for students, we also were students at one point of time. So for teachers also it is true. So for every teacher, teaching methods also vary. Some instructors few give only lectures, others demonstrate or discuss, some focus on the rules and the others on the examples, some emphasize on the memory and others on the understanding of the concepts. We as a teacher must understand that these are different learning styles, visual or verbal, active or reflective, sensing or intuitive, sequential or global. And in our classroom, if possible, we maximum type of learning styles, if we are able to adopt into our day-to-day classroom, that will be better. That means somebody may only like to see the video picture and will be very happy to see that picture, and understanding will be better. Someone will not, even though most of the time it is true that visuals are good, but someone may like to read the paragraphs writing, in a writing fashion he will prefer, isn't it? Someone may think problem in a sequential manner, okay, step by step solving, and then only will try to understand, try to recollect that, oh, this is the entire topic. Someone is not good like this, solving problem in a small step, may think in a top down manner, may think that, okay, students will be a global. That means they will understand fully at the topmost level, and then they will see the smaller blocks like top down approach or bottom up approach, like that, isn't it? So that is one important thing. Then we will come to this part. You all know about it. There are three domains of learning: cognitive domain, affective domain, and psychomotor domain. Most of the time we pay attention only to cognitive domain because of our accreditation mechanisms. We talk from remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating to creating, but we do forget that affective domain is also very important. If we want students to have a joy of learning, then my point here to tell you onto this slide is that don't forget affective domain of learning, because it is related to the heart, it is related to the feeling, it is related to the emotions, isn't it? So wherever possible, in whatever activity is possible, try to inculcate affective domain as well. Our NBA talks about three domains. It's a tripod or it's a triangle. It talks about knowledge, that means intelligent quotient, जिसको हम बुद्धि बोलते हैं. It talks about physical quotient, which is nothing but a skill in a laboratory. You what kind of skills are being important that you see, है ना? Means how fit your body is to do that, you can say. It also talks about attitude, means you can call it as an emotional quotient, है ना, जिसको हम भावना बोलेंगे. So primarily it talks about IQ, EQ, PQ concepts, but it doesn't talk about SQ. SQ means spiritual quotient, which is an inner strength of a human being, soul. So spirituality, NEP to some extent talks about this new angle also, that is inner wisdom guided by the compassion, your inner peace, etc. Okay, so as a teacher, we must create an inner peace among the students. Okay, so I will go to few again important slides as a teacher. Okay, now you might have heard about holistic development. होलिस्टिक डेवलपमेंट बहुत बार सुना होगा. होलिस्टिक डेवलपमेंट मतलब क्या? सो समटाइम्स टीचर से दैट सर उसको ये भी आना चाहिए, उसको वो भी आना चाहिए, है ना. He should know the social aspects also, cultural aspects also, physical aspects also, all these things. But in our ancient literature, it has been very clearly documented that what it should be. So holistic development means 25% of the knowledge that actually you impart in your classroom. That's the meaning. 25% of the self-learning. Student should learn on his own. You should create an atmosphere so that they are learning on their own. That is 25%. So it is only still 50%. Huh? Then peer learning. So that means collaborative learning. So 25% of an atmosphere you should create so that they learn from each other. That's a collaborative learning. And 25% is your experience. Your life is going to teach you. That's the meaning. So this is how 100%. So as a teacher, are we doing this in our courses? Are we simply imparting the knowledge, 100% knowledge? Or we are also having self-learning activities, peer learning activities, and some practical exposure, maybe in the field. So 25% of an experience. So this is what is the meaning of an holistic development. Okay. Let us come to the learning spaces. When I said creating a learning space, you may think that, okay, I am a sir teacher, this is not my role. Some administrator will give me management's job. But you as a teacher can recommend to the management, or some of you may be the leaders also, head of the departments or somebody. Classroom is a social experience. Those days are gone when teacher looks at the blackboard and then delivers a classroom. Now it is very important to create the active learning spaces. Why? Because you need to engage students. You need to build the good relationships with the students. You need to use modern devices. And hence, one-to-one connection, activity-based learning connection is very important. So this is another point I would like to tell, that you must contribute in creating the social experience into the classrooms. Okay. Now let me get. Liberal learning courses. If you want to create a joy of learning, people may say, particularly the Generation X, Generation Y will say, sir, हमने भी तो core ही पढ़ा था, इतने बड़े हो गए. अरे बाबा, that generation was different. Now generation is different. You have to create a joy of learning. It is not an optional. It is not something additional. It has to be a part of our curriculum itself. So if we want to, this is an ingredient for a joy of learning. These initiatives cultivate engineers who simply just don't perform but enjoy the process. They simply just don't know what is to be done, but also they dream, they care about the system. And hence, a lot of liberal learning courses nowadays people are introducing, but NEP also has suggested that you must have liberal learning courses, maybe related to safety, social or professional development, health and wellness, creative and performing arts, lifestyle and home management, sports and fitness. All this now should become a part of teaching learning processes. Those days are gone where your one size fits all. Now everybody likes multiple choices, multiple options, whether it's an online OTT platforms or your social media platforms or dresses or choice. It is the entire world. Gen Z is a choice-driven generation. We all must understand Gen Z is a choice-driven generation. So we must provide choices when and wherever possible for all of them. One size does not fit now all. You all will agree that entertainment always beats the education. If there's a movie going on and if there's a lecture going on and you give the choices to the students would always like to see the movie, isn't it? So entertainment always beats the education. Therefore, creating an entertainment into an education is also very, very important. Okay. Let me quickly come down to now. Let me correlate it to the NEP. Okay. What I told you about where are the problems, where are the challenges. And finally, my intention was to tell you is that joy of learning is very important as a teacher. We must create a joy of learning into the classrooms. What NEP talks about? NEP primarily when we say there are so many features, but holistic multidisciplinary education, emphasis on the regional languages, integration of technology in education, focus on creative thinking and creativity, flexible curriculum, choice-based curriculum. This is what we were talking about up till now. So what's the role of a teacher then? Role of a teacher becomes very important. So teacher is a bearer of multi-language culture. teacher himself should know better if know more than one languages. Bearer of multi-language culture, no doubt. Need to have multidisciplinary knowledge. I cannot say that I know only electronics engineering. I don't know anything about other branches. Now that Gen Z will not accept me as a teacher. If I say I am an electronics teacher, ask me only about electronics problems. They will not accept me as a teacher. So I also need to have a multidisciplinary knowledge if NEP expects that. Then need to have knowledge about the technology. I cannot say, okay, I am not going to use online videos. I am not going to use other methods for teaching learning. I must use technology. Research-oriented mind, thorough critical thinking of various aspects is also required for a teacher. Need to have a clear idea about teaching methods. Then passionate and motivate, progressive attitude, mentoring and facilitator. That means we help to learn to the students. So these are all the important roles. So teacher nowadays, as per NEP, it is expected that he should be a facilitator who is going to facilitate a lot of collaborations, discussions into the classroom, will allow self-directed teaching learning methods into the classroom. Teacher will allow inclusive education, creating and welcoming all kinds of students into the classroom, will provide the individual support. That's the meaning of inclusive education. Encourage collaboration and the teamwork among the different classes of the students. Then promoting creativity and critical thinking into the classrooms, encouraging the creativity, encouraging the curiosity, encouraging the reflections at the end of the session, asking the open-ended questions. All that should be a part of the role of a teacher. Then continuous professional development for self. That is also
Rathod sir, hello.
मॅडम कनेक्शन गेलं का?
हा बहुतेक तुम्ही बाहेर पडले सर. हा
पण आता जस्ट ना
हा आता तुम्ही आहे कनेक्टेड सर. शेअर करा परत.
एक मिनिट परत
येस.
हे आता जस्ट झालं ना मॅडम?
हा एकच सेकंड झाला सर, जास्त नाही व्हायला.
ओके ओके
येस ओके सर.
ठीक आहे ओके. Then another important aspect is mentorship and support, felicitating the holistic development. I have given you the definition of holistic development, 25% split up. Now, if you are not acting as a mentor and not supporting the students, then that won't be possible. Holistic development. Assessments is very important. Designing the different kinds of assessments, using the assessment data and providing the feedback to the students. That is again an important role of a teacher. Curriculum design, which is a holistic curriculum, not only based on what we have studied for so many years or the years back, 20 years back. So innovative curriculum, innovative pedagogy methods, recommending into the curriculum design, that is a role of a teacher. Last but not the least, community engagement, collaborating with the local organizations, organizing community events, involving the communities, using the local resources properly. Finally, I would say that teacher is a role model and is a agent for the social change. So that is important for a teacher. So nowadays, teacher is not simply a giver of the knowledge, not simply exam focused. Now teacher needs to, this is about NEP. Yeah? These are the points which are mentioned in NEP. So teacher, now the role is give inquiry-based learning, to encourage inquiry-based learning, focus on the student-centered knowledge. Then rather than exam focus, students should provide the holistic progress card for the student, introduce the holistic progress card. Formative assessment should be introduced. Should not follow only the set syllabus. Your syllabus should be differentiating. You should have a plans and adapt the students based on their needs, so on and so forth, isn't it? What are the new roles of a teacher? Like a good communicator, you should have an empathy. Digital literacy is very important. Nowadays, so many Gen AI tools available. You can do a job within 2 minutes. Students do. Then we should also learn all those Gen AI tools. Then institutional support needed for all these things are training programs, policy reforms, infrastructure, and workload management for of us. Last thing I would like to mention is that AI literacy. Artificial intelligence literacy is very, very important for teachers, every single teacher, irrespective of the branch, because AI has penetrated into every single domain. So integrating AI in educational enhances the relevance of your curriculum. So making learning and more engaging, effective for the students, if you want to do, you must integrate artificial intelligence, because there is a gap between the employability and what kind of necessary skills we are teaching to the students. So there's an urgency for all of us, for all the teachers, to understand that first you yourself become AI compliant, and then change your technological landscape, and then make your students ready for the job market. Introduce AI now wherever possible. Artificial intelligence has the potential to address some of the biggest challenges in education today. Artificial intelligence is transforming education by enabling the personalized learning experiences. You can create n number of assignments, personalized assignments for the students. You can automate your administrative tasks. You can automate so many things. You can easily create resources that you are required. So we need to learn these new AI technologies. Remember that AI is not intended to replace the human beings, which sometimes teachers do say कि automatic सब हो जाएगा. It is not possible, because finally living entity is very important. So if you see the AI's journey in education sector, initially it was only about the theoretical frameworks and the concepts and the origins of AI people used to talk. However, slowly, if you go around this umbrella of AI that has evolved, so evolution of AI tools and systems have become, so a lot of development have happened. It has impacted, no doubt, teaching and therefore learning methods also. So transformation to education methods have happened. Impact of learning, if you see, so it is the engagement of the students, and the learning outcomes therefore are changed. And in future, probably there will be a lot of developments and innovations happening. So if I want to simply create the presentation, I must learn the AI tools. For example, how to use AI tool, then step-by-step process to create the presentation, then customization techniques for creating the presentation, then sharing strategies. Now, how do I share the presentations along with the students? And finally, how to create actual professional presentations. All this is there. Nowadays, AI is not simply used for maybe creating questions or outcomes or etc. But AI is a collaborative tool which all teachers must use. Technology driven. No, NEP expects you to be technology savvy, tech savvy teachers. So AI powered communication. AI, you can use it for the classroom management. There are a lot of tools you can use for behavioral monitoring of the students also. However, we need to spend a lot of time into understanding and enrolling the students, but you can do that. Then personalized learning paths, I already told you, and then for creating the feedback and the assessments. So AI is not simply one of the tool. AI is a tutor for all of us, 24/7 available tutor for all of us. And if we use AI, probably retention rate of the students will also, and it has increased. It has been proved in the literature that the teachers who are teaching using the AI tools, the attention span of the childs, which has come down to 7 minutes, now it has significantly been increased. Nowadays, there is an agentic AI. So you can create, if you are conversant with the agentic AI, then you can create agents for various things. For example, project-based learning agent for that, who is going to engage the projects. Then lesson planning agent, who is going to create the lesson plans for you and give the weekly ideas. Then differentiation agent, who is going to handle the diverse types of learners and give the customized material for different types of learners. Then assessment creators could be one of the agent, like quizzes, formative assessments you can do, and so many agents. So agentic AI is one of the concept which teachers should understand, try to understand it and try to use it in your day-to-day life. In short, I would recommend that AI integrated teaching is very, very important, and we must go for AI integrated teaching. And this is my last slide for all the teachers, dedicated to all the teachers to understand this slide, that your dedication, is very, very important if you want to create a joy of learning rather than your designation. You could be assistant, associate, or professor, or a director like me, but your dedication is important than your designation. Your sincerity is more important than how senior you are when you go to the classroom. Students don't see how senior you are, they see your sincerity. Students value you more for your values. You are the role model for them. So values are more important than what valuables you carry. Mindset is more important than the marks. Efforts are more important than the results. Loyalty is more important than the royalty. And finally, whatever work you do, proper work is more important than the paperwork. So that's what my last line and the summary line would be like this. Where we are missing a joy of learning in engineering education. And I believe our job as a teacher, whether NEP, NBA, whatever it talks, but fundamental job of a teacher is to impart the knowledge among the students and create a wisdom among the students to allow us to make students aware of what is right, what is wrong. They should be able to make their own decisions in their life. That is what is our job. And to create that job, we need to create joy of learning into the classrooms. If we don't focus on the joy of learning, we are missing something somewhere. That's what. So I think my time is over. Thank you very much. Now let me go and see if there are questions. I will definitely answer them. Oh, back to actually organizers also.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, Rathod sir. It was really, really wonderful, and I attended entire your really, really wonderful, and one has to think on the role of teacher in this scenario.
Yes, yes. Somebody has asked, can AI replace the teacher in coming years? Not. No, that is not going to happen.
Next question.
How do you classify students quickly into these learner categories? Madam, there are some assignments also available for that. Whoever has asked, Anup, I think. So there are some assignments available which you have to give to the students or take their feedback, and from their feedback you can understand uh, and classify the students into their learning categories. So there are a lot of question sets. I think probably KLE University has developed a very good assignment to categorize the students, and you can find out them. You know, but survey you have to take. You have to ask the questions to the students, and then from those questions you can have those insights. Any other question? Oh, लिंक टू क्वेश्चन सेट अभी मेरे पास नहीं है मैडम सर अनूप है सर सो आई डोंट हैव ए लिंक टू ए क्वेश्चन सेट आई हैड क्रिएटेड वंस maybe 4-5 years back. I'll have to go back and see. Quickly तो नहीं है, not available immediately. Learn AI tools. Faculty, those who are not using AI tools but are good teachers. That is your assumption they are good teachers. I explained na Gen Z concept. You ask students, then you'll come to know very interesting answers. Learn AI tools, sir. It is required to increase the productivity. At least those days are gone. Okay, when we used to go with the chalk and duster, अभी वो नहीं चलता है. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you for your session. You highlighted the importance of learning in traditional and also in real life aspects. The students' education, the students who are getting the educations in today's era should concentrate on traditional as well as AI, and the teachers should also be learner centric, then only knowledge centric. So your session was too much inspiring and motivation. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, madam.